Are people without love will not receive true love? Yes, those who lack love often will not receive true love. But the main reason is because they crave love too much, but run away from it. Lack of love, which is essentially a lack of self-created sense of security, or, you soon live in an environment filled with criticism and denial, slowly learning to accept the rigid world this. From small to large, all your strengths must be taken for granted, moreover, any defects can be considered wrong. You try to be a good, obedient child, but it is never as good as someone's son. Have you ever found something that can convey your soul, like music, novels, movies that can take you away from the real world? But such things, of course, do not belong to reality. You have heard beautiful vows and promises, but in the end, the person who said those words taught you a lesson. There are some things that can only be said. Getting used to losing is like getting used to the sun disappearing every day. Fear of disappointment, so you instinctively give up on starting to hope. Alone in this world, getting used to everything can only rely on herself. It seems that this world is like an illusion in a dream, all unreliable. After all, the most beautiful things are extremely fragile, like a butterfly, like a flower, like a girl's beauty. At times, you feel yourself filled with contradictions, you correct, you procrastinate, you choose fear, perfectionism. You think that way you won't have to love anyone. So you turn into a little hedgehog full of thorns, wrapping yourself in a cold armor. But inside, there is a longing for love, a longing for warmth. So when someone treats you well, removing the protective layer outside your heart, you easily lose your mind, rush to get close to people to the point of even losing yourself. The moth is also not immune to the temptation of light. The seed of drama also originates here. Because you have never actively pursued anyone before. The outer layer of spines and hedgehogs are for protection, not for attacking others. You too look a little difficult to approach, even somewhat cold, mysterious. Moreover, you also have the power to attract others, such as talent, beauty. After all, someone will come knocking on the door of your heart that you have kept locked for so long. Such people, their EQ will be higher than yours, they know how to win your trust. For a long time, you still won't be able to tell if the other person's enthusiasm is really from the heart or simply a lie. Time seems to be mixed with honey, both sweet and sticky. The heart feels like it has just begun to love. Your world from a monotonous gray suddenly turns into a rainbow of 7 colors. Life seems to have become meaningful, even if life is no longer important. Love, make us fools. But, no one wants to love a fool. When you like someone, you always feel that person is excellent, feel like you don't deserve to be with the other person. You from a lipstick mole suddenly turned into a mosquito bite, from the bright moonlight into a self-deprecating little grain of rice. And then they leave, all your feelings for them are like smoke. All that remains is the doubt of yourself, whether in this world there really is such a thing as true love. After all, people always like things that don't belong to them. Amorous love always only gets hurt in return, simple as that. So those who lack love will eventually get love or not. I suddenly discovered some of the problems that such people often have. You are easily touched. Risky people always think others are also risky. Simple people always think that the other person is also simple. Lying is hard for some people, but for others it's just a daily skill. It takes a long time before we see a person's true heart. So for those of you who don't know well, don't be easily touched because of what people say to you or do for you. You don't know how to restrain yourself. Lao Tzu once wrote a sentence like this in the Tao Te Ching: "There is no wind that blows forever, there is no rain that keeps falling." The things that you are so passionate about will be difficult to keep for long. After the fire, all that remains is ashes. Falling in love too much will make you lose value. Looking at it will be like a fool being played. Being too emotional is like killing yourself. Feeling mystical is the universal key to maintaining feelings in love. You do not know the initiative. Fear of failure, fear of losing face, fear of disappointment, that's why you never dared to pursue others. But there is no Santa Claus in this world. No Cupid will ever shoot love in your face. What you want, you have to find it yourself. You need to learn to stand up and find a place of defense where you can rest in peace. You have to learn to face the vague things you fear, learn to attack. Even if you lose everything from the beginning, but if you don't fall, how will you get up? You expect too much of love. When it comes to divine things, people have a defensive attitude. Don't dare to come near, because you always consider love to be something extremely perfect, extremely beautiful. Is extremely passionate. In the end, the person who gets hurt is none other than you. In your question, one word is used, which is the word authentic. This is also synonymous with definition and requirement. Your love is extremely high, which means that you feel true love, and the experiences in love must be exactly the same. Actually, this is quite normal. From childhood to adulthood, we all hear beautiful love stories like Romeo and Juliet, Titanic, etc. But the reason why people like main stories, it's because in the story there are dreams, there are conflicts, there are strong feelings, there are things that in the real world there are not. Ask this world, what is love that makes people live and die together? This kind of love feels both sweet and romantic when mentioned. But life is not a play, stop fooling yourself. Love in reality, for the most part, is just a product of hormones in weighing the benefits and harms. Lunock once said, "The greatness in love is that it can cover the existence of nothingness, but its smallness is also that it can only cover the void." For dealing with small feelings of self, love is just useless. Use realistic eyes, relaxed attitude to face love. Then you and your loved one will feel better. Even if you are hurt by love, hope you do not lose faith in love because of this. When we were young, we often dreamed of blue sky, white clouds, sunshine, rainbow and fairy tales. They are all beautiful things, I just can't wait to reach out. Love is the same, must be exactly like in the old fairy tales, also loud, also simple, also pure. After being punched by life a few times in the face, we humans will no longer think like we used to. Before, love was considered a god, now it is no longer needed. It feels okay to have it, but not to have it. No matter how crazy your love experiences are, it's worth the craziness. Later, looking back on those sufferings, they will turn into wounds. But that wound will turn into a strong scar. Use that to practice as a memory in love. We think about the beautiful life. Not because it is inherently beautiful, but only then can it bring happiness. There are many times when the scariest thing is not failure, but regret. Having to stumble into failure, we can learn lessons and have a new way of thinking. Then we continue to love, to continue to hurt, to continue to feel the brilliance of life. After all, we like beauty, isn't it because beauty is scarce in this world?